So let's recap. Dress, wig, sexy cologne, lingerie, tiara.
But no makeup.
No makeup.
It's just 5 o'clock shadow
Yeah.
dark circles under the eyes. But everything else checks out.
Is there anything else? I think that's it. And sexy cologne, ruby tiara, good wig for winning the squat competition. Somehow I never noticed the white materia in Eris's hair until this recent playthrough.
There's a good touch.
But it's very prominent. Like, she specifically tied it up there for this outfit. Because normally her hair is braided, but she let it down here. So I think normally it's embedded in her hair, which is why it flies out when she dies. But here she's like, yeah, I'll just wear this as like a cool jewel.
I love every once in a while when, like, the perspective gets all fucked up, so Cloud, like, the camera angle, like, at the top of those stairs, the clouds looked, like, really squished.
Yeah. But sometimes he looks really elongated, like right here.
Yeah, that table doesn't look very cool.
No, neither does that furnace, or that chair.
Or the weapons on the wall.
Yeah.
That candle must be fucking gigantic and hot.
This game passes the Bechdel test. Poor Cloud. Oh yeah, even she says it. Cloud? You're pretty hot.
Cloud, you okay over there? Yeah, I'm just, I don't know, experiencing things right now.
I'm pretty sure I'm cool with this, actually.
I think once this whole thing's over,
I might wanna, you know...
give this a shot.
Like, if you wouldn't mind going to the store with me, because I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know.
I know what I'm looking for, but I know what I want.
Yeah. I want to be pretty.
Damn, hair sometimes just like getting a knot. Like, sometimes you gotta rip that shit. It's crazy. Who wrangles up these women to bring them into this house?
It seems like Don Corneo has just put out a general call, and then sometimes some women show up. Because Tifa came there of her own accord, and then obviously we showed up. It was like, hey, I've got this hot blonde and this hot brunette. Now I'm in a bind.
Well, you see the bloody table with the spikes and human silhouette?
Yeah. Although the spikes seem like they would hurt whoever is on top of the person on the table rather than the person on the table.
And there's like some clamps and shit. What the fuck?
I mean, certain people have certain proclivities, and that's fine. But I guess it's a matter of perspective and juxtaposition.
Yeah, like, this is so silly. The music, the situation, but then this murder dungeon.
Yeah, like the murder dungeon wouldn't be off-putting if it wasn't in the basement of a slumlord.
This is super stubby. I tell you. Nowadays, compared to what? What was it like before?
You can't be older than like 30 right now. Cloud, you fucking, of course.
What do you think?
That's why you dressed as a woman to get in here in the first place.
It's like I thought it was to get through the door. I didn't know. I thought I was gonna be murdering people once I got through the door.
I don't know why that wasn't Cloud's plan to begin with. Just bust in there with a sword, going, limit break. Boss, there's a guy with a giant sword down there screaming limit break. There's a lot of blood. There's a whole lot of blood.
More than usual.
Like at least half as much as usual.
Like how Cloud appears to be looking down this whole time.
I think he is actually right now. You'll see how he acts in a moment when the Don tries to inspect him.
Yeah, I remember. He, like,
kind of turns his head left and right.
It's like, oh, I like the shy ones.
Yeah. Oh, fucking Don Corneo, you scumbag.
Tifa's just like, you know what, fuck this, and starts beating the fuck out of him.
Yeah, there's no reason for them not to do that right now. They blew up a reactor, they've stood against Shinra, there's no reason for them to not just fucking take him out. This healthy-looking girl.
This real handsome woman with a strong jaw. And the real cut shoulders.
And the strong traps.
It looks like she could do at least 20 squats.
At least 20. In 30 seconds, even.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So if Cloud doesn't get selected here, he goes to a fuck room where there's like 6 guys walking towards him. And you have to fight them. Which is kind of a... If you don't get selected, you get to go to that room, you get some bonus experience for the fight, and there's, I think, a tent and a high potion in that room, so you get rewarded with a couple of items. If he does get selected, you get rewarded with this weird little story bit. So it's kind of a give and take as to what you get, depending on how well you do.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah. There's a hyper just hiding behind his bed.
Basically a boner pill.
Yeah, basically a boner pill. Just pour it all over. So depending on your dialogue choices here, you will bring up Barrett. Basically, he'll be like, "Oh, why are you hesitant?" And you're like, "Well," it's like, "Is there someone else?" And you go, "There's a guy named Barrett," and then that gives you points with Barrett for the date. But if you just choose the first option, you almost kiss him, and they're like, "Wait, Cloud, what were you?"
It's like I was just playing along. It was part of the plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was me all along. It was me, Cloud.
Yeah. I love this part because they are threatening to destroy his genitals.
Like, don't they all have their own thing?
They all have their own thing, yeah. Cloud says, "I'll chop them off." Rusty.
He's like, yeah, that dog Corneo is a real asshole too. I have opinions about this game. I'm Rusty the dog.
I'm 14. Eris will rip them off.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a bit brutal.
Tifa's like, I'll give him a healthy jerk. He's like, oh.
But then he looks at her muscles and he's like, uh-oh.
She flexes and it goes from like a toned woman to like fucking
JoJo.
Armstrong
JoJo.
Yeah.
And then Tifa will smash them. That seems backwards. Eris with her rod seems like she would smash them.
Yeah.
And then Tifa seems like she would rip them off.
Yeah.
His balls, that is. If you ever need the bad guy to speak, just threaten him with genital mutilation. I think he's done. You done, Rusty? There we go.
Fuck.
Yes. Yeah, somehow Corneo knows all about the plan to blow up the support for the plate.
How did they know where Avalanche was?
They didn't. They only knew it was somewhere in the Sector 7 slums.
So they're just like, fuck it all.
Yeah, exactly. Just drop that plate on the whole slum. It's a bit of an extreme plan, but, hey.
Does it ever say how many people live there?
No. And the sense of scale for Midgar is never properly established because you never see it in, you never see it with any kind of comparison. You never see like a person or a person next to a house next to the plate, so you never get that sense of scale for it exactly, but it seems like at least several thousand people must live in the slums of any given section.
Like how they had the cartoon pause like
before they fell?
Yeah.
I like how the models just sometimes melt from a distance. So that President Shinra's eyes are lopsided like he's a fucking flounder.
It's funny to draw characters like that, though. Like, that was the style on purpose. It's kind of just funny.
Yeah. Well, there's a moment in Final Fantasy VIII that I love where its figures are much more detailed and human-looking, but they still suffer from all the PS1 things that models suffered from. And there's a moment where Renoa is talking to Squall, and very early on, and she says, "You're the most handsome guy in here." And the comic that someone did, it's the moment of her saying, "You're the most handsome guy in here." Then it zooms in on his pixelated face, and when you look at it close, it's like this weird square bean. And then they drew it as if that's how his face is shaped, so he's just like this fucked up bean head. These squished features and these huge lips. You're the most handsome guy here. Wendy Chan. It doesn't seem perfect to me. It seems like a convoluted plan.
Oh man, was that Don Corneo's toilet? He just dropped us down because now we're in the sewer.
Basically. I imagine sometimes Corneo is a bit lazy, and so he just flips the switch to the sewer and then just squats over that.
Does which one you talk to first change anything?
I think so, actually. I think you get points with whomever you talk with first. Now, it's a good idea to make sure you have a good number of points with Tifa, because the points you have with her affect one more story bit right at the end of the second disc. Fortunately, I had enough points with her. It sounds weird to say that, but I had enough points with her from my playthrough last year that when I got to that bit, I got the better version of it. So I was able to use that for the playthrough. But if you want to go out with Yuffie or Barrett, then you need to tank that portion and likely lose it. Although, actually, if you want to go on a date with Yuffie, you can gain points with her without losing points with everyone else. Because when you have that moment after you fight her where you have to talk with her and you have to choose the right option or else she'll run away, every time you choose a right option, you gain a point with her. So what you can do is choose the right options for all but the last one, select that one so that she runs away, then count her again and repeat so that each time you're gaining like 5 or 6 points. And you can just do that over and over and over until you know you have enough to go out on the date with her. Which ends with her slapping Cloud.
Ah, shit, Water. This is the worst.
Especially when it hits you from behind. Now it's all running down the back of your neck.
Oh, God. Yeah, beat some ass.
Tifa's limit break is just, what if I punched the guy like 3 times instead of once?
Super tsunami.
I remember as a kid, I would normally only get new games in December, because I had my birthday, December 10th, and then Christmas, obviously, so the end of the year is when I always got new games, and it must have been I think it was 2000, like that summer, or leading up into the summer, I was replaying Final Fantasy VII, because I didn't have new games. The newer games I had played through already. I was playing through this portion of it, and I was playing it in the living room, and my mom walked by, and she saw that I was playing this game, which I've been playing for like 3 years now, and for once, she actually got a little... It occurred to her that maybe I might enjoy, like, more games than just, 1 per year, or 1 or 2 per year, and so she looked at this and she's like, "Hey, haven't you been playing this, like, for a long time?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's fun, though." She's, do you want a new game, maybe?" Like, the thought just never occurred to her to sometimes, especially at that point when Dad was actually making good money and, you know, cost of living in Idaho is dirt cheap. It just finally occurred to her, like, hey, maybe we can get you a new game. And then that's how I wound up getting the Final Fantasy Anthology.
Nice.
Because that had been out for a couple years anyway, so it was affordable to begin with.
I wish I knew what my mom and stepdad were making, like what their wage was back when I was a kid. Because for how fucking dirt cheap it was to live there, they always seemed to really not have any money. And I was like, what were you doing?
Yeah, my parents were in a similar boat. I remember one time going to ask, one summer I went when we were living in Kellogg, again, when Dad was making good money, and I asked Mom, hey, can I go rent a game? And she said no. And I think it's because we didn't have much money, but you know, game rentals were like $2.50.
Yeah.
They were very cheap, so money must have been very tight if I couldn't go rent one. And then later on, I overheard her talking about how guilty she felt that, you know, they couldn't spare money for me to go rent a game, etc., etc. But I did ask, I'm like, how much does Dad make in a year? This was separate from all of that, just at some point I was curious about it. And I never got a firm number from her, but she kept telling me, like, go higher, and I think he was making around $36,000 a year at one point, like at the height of his trucking. Excuse me. And I think about he was making $36,000 a year and $2,000 living in northern Idaho. Like, that's a lot. That's a fair amount of money now. And it was, again, cost of living was nothing.
Yeah.
This is the 2000 economy, so you can probably look at inflation, and that's probably closer to $45,000 or $50,000 these days. But even with the
Remember my name.
yeah, he's just happy that we remembered his name. Even with the 3 kids that they were raising, me and my 2 younger brothers, it's like, where did that money go?
Like,
we didn't have like new cars or I got new clothes.
What do you think rent could have possibly been?
Not even now, it's not much.
Because
now it's not much.
I rented
I want to say $500 for the house we had in Kellogg in 2000.
I was renting a 2-bedroom apartment in Pinehurst one time for $500 a month.
Yeah.
And like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, what? Seriously?
Like, it wasn't going towards like fresh produce.
It was going towards cigarettes.
Maybe. I'm frightfully curious about that.
Yeah, I just want to know. I'm just
yeah.
like, what
just
was
out of curiosity, I need to know. All right, time to go attack the pillar.